Homage to our fundamental teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. Homage to Manjushri, the embodiment of wisdom and courage. Homage to all lineage masters of great kindness. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in millions of kalpas. Now we are able to hear, study, and follow it. May we fully realize the Tathagata's true meaning. To liberate all sentient beings, please generate Supreme Bodhicitta, the three kayas mandala offering of the preliminaries. When offering according to the Longchen Nyingtik liturgy, first in the three kayas mandala, the Nirmanakaya mandala has 9 heaps. The Sambhogakaya mandala has 5 heaps. The Dharmakaya mandala has 1 heap. There should be diagrams to illustrate this first. Let's explain the Nirmanakaya mandala, which represents the Nirmanakaya realm, like Buddha Shakyamuni, who manifests as an excellent emanation before sentient beings. All the wonderful offerings he manifests are completely offered to yesterday's explained objects of practice, as mentioned when placing and arranging them in front. The 4 great continents, Mount Sumeru, Brahma realm, and so forth. All these worlds count as one world system, counting up to 1,000. Like this is called 1,000 small thousand worlds. Having 1,004 continent worlds counts as one small thousand world system. Counting such small thousand worlds up to 1,000 is called 2,000 medium thousand world systems. This calculation method we've already explained many times when studying the Abhidharmakosha, so I won't elaborate extensively here. Everyone should understand. A medium thousand world counts as 1, counting up to 1,000, like this is called a 3,000 great thousand world system. The 3,000 great thousand world system that we commonly speak of, people often mention, but actually the number of worlds in a 3,000 great thousand world system is not what we imagine. It is truly, truly inconceivable. It should be like this. It contains 10 billion 4-continent world systems. This is the realm manifested by one Buddha's emanation, just as Buddha Shakyamuni's manifested realm is called the Saha world. So a 3,000 great thousand world system is the manifested world when one Buddha achieves enlightenment. Buddha Shakyamuni's world is called the universe of endurance, or the Saha world. This is the scope of the entire world system. So the outer rim around our ordinary mandala plate actually encompasses the entire world system. Here we have first the Nirmanakaya mandala. The circumference represents the Iron Ring Mountains, representing the boundary of the world. In the center is Mount Sumeru, with the 4 directions and 4 intermediate directions. This is actually called the 9-heap mandala, also called the Nirmanakaya mandala. Next, we should visualize in countless, inconceivable Buddha fields like these the 7 royal attributes of celestial and human universal monarchs, plus the 8 auspicious symbols, 7 precious objects, and many other inconceivable offerings, both owned and ownerless, all the finest items available, plus one's own body, possessions, lifespan, merit, power, and status. Virtuous roots accumulated in the 3 times, happiness and joy, and so forth. All the most beloved things, everything without exception, is completely accumulated. Cry, cry more. Such a sad thing, cry. Why aren't you crying? As just explained, within the 3,000 great thousand world system, all wealth of humans and celestial beings, both owned and ownerless, plus our personal body, possessions, merit, power, and status, along with all virtuous roots accumulated in the 3 times, everything is heaped together, not leaving even a sesame seed's worth. Everything is heaped together. Without even a sesame seed's worth of attachment, everything is offered to the Guru and Nirmanakaya assembly. This above is called the common Nirmanakaya mandala, the 3 kayas mandala generally speaking. The main offering is the 3 kayas mandala. Come, here's this for you. Look, all the world's sweets come before you to offer you mandala, as just explained. All the offerings of the 3,000 great thousand world system are completely heaped together and offered to all the Nirmanakaya noble ones. This is called the common Nirmanakaya mandala. What we're explaining here is 9 heaps. Actually, in the Saha world, Mount Sumeru is in the center, then the 4 great continents. The 4 directions have the 4 great continents, and the 4 intermediate directions have other smaller continents. This means that within the entire 3,000 Great Thousand World system, all good things that people are attached to, both owned and ownerless, all offerings. Everything is offered heap by heap like this, the true meaning of the 9 heaps. In some preliminary instruction texts and some master's lineage transmissions from the past, there was no specific designation. For example, what the first heap represents was not stated like this. Very few mentioned that the 7 royal attributes are one, or one's own body and virtuous roots, but counting this way doesn't necessarily fit particularly well. In any case, we can say it this way. Some instruction texts from the past also had this approach. All the sense pleasures in the center, eastern, western, southern, and 4 intermediate directions. All wonderful offerings are offered one by one to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is the first visualization method. Below we have specific verses for the Longchen Nyingtik 3 Kayas mandala. Next, with focused mind, visualize manifesting countless 5 great Buddha fields. All adorned with inconceivable good fields, immeasurable palaces, and countless offering goddesses, like the dance goddess offering this to the Guru and Sambhogakaya assembly. This is called the uncommon Sambhogakaya mandala. The Sambhogakaya mandala will also be explained below, having 5 certainties or 5 perfections, such as certain teacher, certain environment, perfect dharma, and so forth. In the Sambhogakaya realm with 5 perfections, there are the 5 Buddha families. Generally speaking, this is what pure bodhisattvas perceive. In what pure bodhisattvas perceive, there are inconceivable various good fields of celestials and humans, immeasurable palaces, dance goddesses, and so forth, limitless and boundless offerings. All of these are completely offered to the Sambhogakaya realm. This is called the uncommon Sambhogakaya mandala. Generally speaking, it has 5 offerings. Mount Sumeru in the center, east, south, west, north, totaling 5 heaps. Generally speaking, when we do the 3 Kayas mandala offering, the cleaning and polishing of the mandala base plate in front is all the same. When you recite the Nirmanakaya verses, place the first ring and offer 9 heaps inside. After that, start placing the second ring representing the Sambhogakaya mandala and offer 5 heaps inside. Then place the third ring representing the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya has only 1 because the Dharma Dhatu is pure, just 1 relatively larger heap. Then place the top ornament. This way is also acceptable. Generally, when offering the 3 Kayas mandala, all 3 rings are placed. If we do the 7-heap mandala, we use 1 base plate. But there are also some simpler methods. While reciting the 3 Kayas mandala verses, just like when we offer 7 heaps, just randomly add some heaps on top, then wipe clean. Without adding the other 3 rings, there's also this method. Perhaps each teacher has somewhat different methods. Of course, some of us here might have already practiced the 3 Kayas mandala from the path of liberation revealed. The 3 Kayas mandala is also acceptable if following formal requirements. Actually, for the 3 Kayas mandala, according to the lineage of Khenpo Ngagchung and others from the past, ideally, one should offer 100,000 Longchen Nyingtik 3 Kayas mandalas. For superior practitioners, it's like this. For middling practitioners, offer 30,000 3 Kayas mandalas and 70,000 7-heap mandalas. For inferior practitioners, offering all 7-heap mandalas is also acceptable. So this time, we also count as inferior practitioners. Because we're all using 7-heap mandalas, everyone should have no major problems. Therefore, the requirement is also like this. This explains the Sambhogakaya mandala. Below, we explain the Dharmakaya mandala. Establish the unborn Dharma Dhatu as the image of the mandala base plate. All discriminating consciousness aggregates, such as the 4 visions taught in the Great Perfection, are established as offering heaps. This is also just a symbolic form. All our consciousness aggregates ultimately become one wisdom offering heap. Offering this to the Guru and Dharmakaya assembly, this is the Supreme Dharmakaya mandala. So we ordinarily use 1 offering heap to represent this below. It means mastering these visualization key points. and with strong, sincere faith and reverent heart, begin recitation. The following recitation is from the Longchen Nyingtik words of my perfect teacher, verses many masters in the past use these verses for offerings. These verses have 3 stanzas. If 3 stanzas count as one offering, then this time is still very long. In Mipham Rinpoche's Path of Liberation Revealed, there's only 1 verse. This verse is very convenient. When we make offerings, we should still often recite more 3 kayas mandalas. This is very important. Actually, Chagme Rinpoche specifically has key instructions for brief mandala practice. These key instructions explain we shouldn't only practice like this when doing the 500,000 preliminaries. Regularly, it's best to often practice 37-heap mandalas. If 37-heap mandalas are really not possible, then daily practice 3 kayas mandalas 100 times. If practicing 3 kayas mandalas is particularly difficult, then practice 7-heap mandalas 100 times. If 7-heap mandalas also have certain difficulties, then at least recite the mantra 100 times. Chagme Rinpoche also taught this way. So practicing mandala offerings to accumulate merit is actually very important for everyone. Why do we say this? As Chagme Rinpoche also said, other ways of accumulating merit. As ordinary beings, we always have some impure thoughts. For example, if we use money to do good deeds, from the beginning, the source of money definitely contains some elements of negative karma. In the process of earning money, you might tell lies, have various cunning minds, deceptive minds. There are many negative elements also within. When you're using money to do good deeds and accumulate merit, many afflictions and sufferings also arise. For example, in the actual process of doing this, both self and others generate some afflictive defilements. At the end, you might also generate some miserly mind. These are called 3 kinds of defilement, initially tainted with negative karma, in the middle tainted with afflictions and suffering, at the end there's miserliness. Generally, when using wealth to do good deeds, there are often these 3 components, these 3 negative karmas, but with mandala offerings, initially the mandala plate doesn't require much negative karma. When you're doing it in the middle, you don't need many afflictions. At the end, there won't be any miserliness. So it's free from these 3 defilements, particularly easy and effortless, and anyone can do it. Poor people can accumulate merit. Wealthy people can also accumulate merit. Anyone can accumulate merit. It's a particularly excellent, skillful method. Therefore, since ancient times, great masters, through practicing mandala offerings, through this skillful method, accumulated vast merit. If one doesn't accumulate merit, a Buddha won't manifest the 32 major marks and 80 minor signs. They won't be complete because these can only manifest through merit. So accumulating merit through mandala offerings is particularly important for each of us. We must practice this. We can't think of ourselves as sharp-facultied practitioners or that we don't need to accumulate merit, having an especially high evaluation of ourselves. Actually, as ordinary beings, we definitely have many karmic obscurations. There's much merit we need to accumulate. So for everyone, this must be valued. Now below it says Oma Hung, billions of 3,000 world systems filled with the 7 precious treasures and wealth of humans and gods, along with my body and possessions. I offer all may I attain the sovereignty of a Dharma wheel-turning king. What was explained above is the first, the Nirmanakaya mandala. Om Ahung is first the blessing mantra, the billions mentioned above, the entire 3,000 great thousand world system, that is, the Saha world. The Saha world filled with all wealth, primarily the 7 precious treasures of humans and gods, plus one's own body, possessions, virtuous roots, merit, and so forth. Everything is offered to the noble ones. May oneself and all sentient beings attain the sovereignty to turn the Dharma wheel for beings. That is, the Nirmanakaya fruition, a fruition equal to Buddha Shakyamuni. After Buddha Shakyamuni attained this sovereignty, he turned 84,000 Dharma wheels for countless sentient beings. When we offer mandalas, first we should think this way. I now have all the best things in the 3,000 great thousand world system, all heaped together and offered to the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and 3 times. What is the purpose? Not to make me happy, make me beautiful, make me joyful, make me wealthy, for all sentient beings, self and others, to attain Buddhahood. the visualization goal is very important. If the goal isn't particularly well aimed, the fruition attained may not be very vast. This is the first one. When we visualize, it's like this. The second one is in the Sambhogakaya realm of great bliss dense array. With the 5 certainties and offerings to the 5 Buddha families, limitless sense, pleasures, and offering clouds, I offer all. This translation may have some characters slightly different. This version should be better. Limitless sense pleasures and offering clouds I offer all. May I attain perfect Sambhogakaya fruition. That is, in the Sambhogakaya realm, we often call it the 5-family Guhyagarbha Buddha field. The 5-family Akanishta Buddha field has 5 certainties, 5 perfections, 5 Buddha families. The 5 Buddha families of East, South, West, North, and Center, all the Sambhogakaya Buddha fields where these Tathagatas reside, also have various extremely excellent, limitless sense pleasures, offering clouds, Samantabhadra's cloud offerings, and so forth. All of these are offered to all noble ones in the Sambhogakaya realm, May Self, and all sentient beings attain perfect Sambhogakaya fruition. We should visualize this way. This is the content of the second verse. The content of the third verse says, the pure youthful vase Buddha body of all existence, adorned with the indestructible play of great compassion and dharmata. The essence drops, body, grasping, and pure realm, I offer all. May I attain supreme Dharmakaya fruition. The third line might be somewhat different in some versions, meaning essence drops, and body, grasping, pure realm are all offered. The essence drops, body, grasping, and pure realm. I offer all existences pure youthful vase Buddha body. With what is it adorned? Adorned with the indestructible play of great compassion and dharmata. This is the uncommon language of the great perfection. Our sentient beings Tathagatagarbha, or the actually achieved true youthful vase Buddha. Every sentient being's Buddha nature is like this. It is a phenomenon of the indestructible play of great compassion and dharmata. This phenomenon also has essence drops, 3 kayas, and so forth. These graspings are purified in the realm, purified in the Dharmakaya realm. These offerings are generally difficult for our discriminating minds to imagine. All our attachments, all phenomena of samsara, both excellent and inferior, are completely purified. The magical display of this purity is offered to the Dharmakaya realm. May self and all sentient beings attain supreme Dharmakaya fruition. These verses are called the 3 kayas mandala verses recite in Tibetan. Generally, they're all recited in Tibetan. When counting, the left hand, as when first making offerings, continuously holds the mandala plate. The right hand starts placing offering heaps. Usually when our left hand holds the mandala plate, if it's relatively large, it's particularly painful when offering for long periods. The ones we're making now are lighter, so there might not be much problem. If the mandala plate is particularly large and heavy, it's very difficult to hold the right hand polishes while placing offering heaps. As a result, this will inevitably lead to extreme pain in the left hand, because after offering for a long time, it becomes particularly painful. However, before reaching the point where one absolutely cannot hold the mandala plate, one must continue to hold up the mandala plate with tenacious willpower. Practicing mandala offerings also requires a kind of asceticism. Actually, all practice requires diligence and perseverance, regardless of what you're practicing, whether reciting Vajrasattva mantras, prostrating, practicing mandala offerings, anything. Diligent people can all do it, non-diligent people can't do any of it. Why? Because non-diligent people have countless excuses. This won't work, I'm too busy with that, because every day they find a whole bunch of excuses for themselves. But diligent people, no matter how busy or whatever the situation, won't relax when it comes to important matters. We can say this. So here it says, before this, continuously hold the mandala plate with tenacious willpower. What we call ascetic diligence in seeking the Dharma doesn't just mean having nothing to eat or nothing to wear. We often say ascetic practice for seeking the Dharma. It doesn't necessarily mean having nothing to eat or wear to be true asceticism. Any behavior, including getting up early and going to bed late, not being distracted normally, doing many things, having strict requirements for oneself, all of these should be a kind of asceticism for the Dharma, but rather means constantly not fearing any hardships or difficulties, practicing with unwavering perseverance. So merely by relying on the asceticism and patience of practicing mandala offerings, one can also perfect vast merit. We must practice this personally so we can practice mandala offerings or other preliminaries and contemplations. All diligent practitioners normally pay special attention to any kind of Dharma teaching. They take it particularly seriously, and in the end, indeed, sometimes we can also see this. A very few people here, in terms of service work, basically might spend 8 or 9 hours a day entirely on service work, working beside computers. But afterwards, they still basically keep up with other Dharma friends. They also complete their preliminaries the same way, and basically don't miss classes, and many other tasks they can also complete. Some people neither do service work nor attend classes. Every day, they can't even finish their preliminaries. After a while, we'll take statistics to see what everyone is like. Some people really don't know what they're doing here. In the academy, it's not like in big cities. Indeed, in big cities, many lay practitioners, if they can't complete preliminaries, sometimes I understand. There's indeed pressure from work units, personal family pressure, also inner pressure and work pressure. When all these pressures are piled on one person, it's very hard to bear. In big cities, there are many endless worries. This is indeed a fact. But here in our academy, aside from attending a few classes, there shouldn't be much else. Some service workers I also understand. Other than that, why can't you complete preliminaries? Not completing preliminaries definitely has problems. Either they just don't practice, or perhaps some people have individual teachers who don't emphasize this. If they don't emphasize it, they regard this teacher as a special wish-fulfilling jewel. The teacher doesn't practice, so they also don't practice, slowly watching him. In the end, outside they also gradually withdraw from study groups. Finally, they also gradually withdraw from Buddhist study. Some individuals are like this, but this kind is unavoidable. But for others, if they truly want to study, it's not just verbal, or I want to follow a certain teacher, or I received such and such teachings, and that's it. Getting everything done at once. It's not like that, like Patrul Rinpoche. How many sets of preliminaries did he practice in his lifetime? Regarding Khenpo Ngagchung's preliminary practice, have you looked at it? I asked you to look the day before yesterday. Did you look? Did you look at the biography? Khenpo Ngagchung's Mandala offering biography. Do you have the book? Did you look at it? Those who didn't look, raise your hands. What are you doing if you don't look? When did I say this? Yesterday, the day before, 3 days ago. It's been 3 days already, right? I'm still developing some discouragement. When I speak, it seems no one below is listening. 90% of people didn't look. Perhaps a very few people looked. When I teach, it's as if no one is listening. Forget it. Just give the transmission. Finally, when the left hand really cannot continue holding the mandala plate, just place it on the offering table in front. During the mandala practice period, one can count while offering, when it's really sometimes particularly uncomfortable, when the hands really can't manage. Place it on the offering table, then count while offering. This is a special allowance. But generally, we don't do this. We still hold it in our hands. During all intervals, like eating meals and drinking tea, we should put away the mandala offerings in front. When we drink tea or eat meals, at this time, if our time permits in all aspects, start putting away the mandala offerings. Afterwards, start again from the 37-heap mandala. When restarting, do it the same as before. First offer the 37-heap mandala and continue counting. Now we're practicing mandala offerings. I asked you to look at. One is the guide to the words of my perfect teacher. What are Khenpo Ngagchung's pith instructions like? Yesterday, the day before, 3 days ago. On Monday I said this second. I hope everyone should look at Khenpo Ngagchung's biography of practicing mandala offerings at that time. It starts from about page 20. Everyone should have this book, but looking at today, no one has read it. If no one has read it, I still have great objections. Of course, I also understand you might be quite busy, paying more attention to practicing mandala offerings. Some might even have other personal matters. Everyone has their own affairs. I acknowledge this too. But generally speaking, a person's level of attention to practice and study can also be seen from their behavior. Through this method of mandala offering, one must complete the full 100,000 times. Our general 500,000 preliminaries today, a British Buddhist called me and said she is a disciple of a certain teacher. All the mandala, vajrasattva, refuge practices can be combined into a very simple joint practice, so she likes combined practice. No need to offer each one individually. If such fast food methods really exist, that's also very good. Many teachers also have such methods. We don't oppose this either, but when we do virtuous deeds, we try to make them increasingly brief. Then when doing other trivial matters, if we make them increasingly elaborate, this might also be finding excuses for ourselves. Those who temporarily cannot practice 3 kayas mandala can also just recite the 7-heap mandala below perfume and flowers cover the great earth, Mount Sumeru, 4 continents adorned by sun and moon. Visualizing Buddha fields, I make this offering, may all beings traverse to Buddha fields. I also explained this content 2 days ago. This verse was when King Trisong Detsen met Padmasambhava. He offered his kingdom and all subjects, all possessions to the master. At the same time, he used this verse to make aspirations. So from then on, in Tibetan areas, from the old translation school to the new translation school, all great masters and many practitioners frequently use this mandala offering. The meaning is to cover the entire earth with fresh flowers and perfumed water. Also Mount Sumeru and sun and moon, the 4 great continents as adornments, all the sense pleasures of our entire world system. We offer to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, may all sentient beings be able to go to pure Buddha fields. So when we generally offer Mount Sumeru in the center, then east can be close to oneself. Then east, south, west, north, sun and moon, sun in the east, moon in the west, such 7-heap mandala. Because the movements are relatively quick, you might not immediately see everything clearly. But when actually visualizing by oneself, it should be all the worlds, as we just explained, the Saha world or 3,000 great thousand world system, all offerings, all sense pleasures, all wealth of celestial and human realms, also including one's own body and virtuous roots, all of one's perfections, happiness, merit, beauty, and so forth, all offered one by one to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. In the mind, continuously visualize this way. Chagme Rinpoche has 3 methods of mandala practice. One practice method is outer visualization, just like what we're explaining here now. Visualize, in front, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. Before the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, visualize all offerings of the 3,000 great thousand world system, centered on the 4 great continents, offering them to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. At the end, you don't need to dissolve the refuge field either. You yourself dissolve or remain in emptiness, conceptless. This is called outer mandala, offering. When doing inner mandala, offering. Also before Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, deities and dakinis, visualize your body as Mount Sumeru. Then your 4 limbs as the 4 great continents and other blood, flesh, including other parts of your body, all are visualized as all sense pleasures and offerings in the world, to offer to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Finally, the refuge field, the objects of offering, merge into your body. This is called inner mandala offering. When doing secret mandala offering, likewise visualize in front all deities, gurus, and so forth. Then transform your mind into Samantabhadra's cloud offerings to offer to Tathagatas of the 10 directions. Finally, enter into a state of non-duality with the refuge field. This is called secret mandala offering. There's also this contemplation method. These 3 visualization methods can always be practiced. If practiced this way, then effortlessly accumulate extremely vast and boundless merit. There's also such a practice method, so here we generally use this recitation. If there's time, mantras can be added, or mantras can be added at the beginning each day. First offer 3 kayas mandala, then offer 7-heap mandala. At the end add mantras. It's like this too. Om Vajra Bhumia Hong, Wang Duri, Wang Sang Cho Dun Parang Sang Soha. Offering 7-heap mandala is also acceptable. If 3 kayas mandala is really difficult, offering 7-heap mandala is also acceptable. no matter what, in the process of offering at the very beginning, generate supreme excellent bodhicitta, you must think, this time I'm offering mandala for the benefit of all sentient beings to the ends of space. You should think this way. Then, in the middle, the main practice is conceptless. Try not to have other scattered discursive thoughts or be interrupted by other trivial matters. If you have realization, abide in the conceptless state. Of course, this conceptlessness is somewhat difficult for those who haven't realized emptiness. At the end, abiding in conceptless emptiness is also acceptable. Actually, this is accumulating wisdom merit. Finally, the concluding practice, sealing with dedication, that is, being embraced by the three excellences, is very important. This point is completely the same as other practices. In the past, there was a very famous person in Tibetan areas called Langri Tangpa. He said, what we call mandala, offering, means extending the hand to accumulate vast merit. There's no Dharma teaching more profound than this, because we can accumulate vast merit just by relying on our hands. If we use other methods to accumulate merit, they're not so easy, to tell the truth. Whether we're building monasteries now or doing many things, if we don't have certain merit from past lives, it's particularly difficult for us to now create much vast merit. Even if you mentally want to generate bodhicitta, you don't necessarily have such opportunity. You don't necessarily have such great fortune, but mandala offerings anyone can practice, so we must complete our merit. Originally, I was trying hard to elaborate, but since you didn't read the books, my mood became bad. Now I can't think of anything. The fifth point is cleanliness of offerings during mandala practice, when using barley, wheat, and other grains for mandala offerings. If your economic conditions and circumstances are relatively prosperous, you absolutely cannot repeatedly use old grains for offerings. You must use completely fresh grains. Khenpo Ngagchung used 4 packloads. Under circumstances where we ourselves are permitted, in all aspects, we should also buy some grains. Yesterday, I saw many people, some carrying 50 pounds of rice. Some carrying 20 pounds of rice, some carrying 10 pounds of rice. All are fine no matter what. If offering once a day is fine, or within a week, according to your own situation, if you have some miserliness in this aspect, it's best you exchange this or offer it once and for all, otherwise having a miserly mind. No matter what merit you're creating, having a miserly mind is not very good. So without miserliness, according to your own situation, you can make offerings. After offering this way, the grains that were offered can be fed to birds, mice, and so forth, or to blind people, beggars, etc., or piled before large Buddha statues, stupas, or sutras is also acceptable. But perhaps we don't necessarily have particularly good places. Pouring in some particularly clean places, this is also acceptable. Otherwise, all in front of Buddha statues might not be convenient. With so many piled together, it might not be convenient. Whether there are beggars and such, if there are, it's also allowable. Decide according to your own situation, and it shouldn't be taken for personal use. If finances are not abundant, then according to your situation, appropriately change the grains and offerings being offered. According to your own situation, I think for everyone, this might be more convenient. If you have to change every day, there's certain difficulty about once a week, or wash what you've used before, dry it, then use it again for offerings, for poor people, etc. Repeatedly using the same grains for offerings is also allowed, no matter what. First, remove all impurities from the offerings, like dirt, ash, weeds, bird droppings, and so forth. Clean all impurities thoroughly, and make the offerings clean and moisten with saffron, perfumed water, etc. Then make offerings. Each time we offer, for example with perfumed water, saffron, or some juniper branches, first purify with some incense smoke, then practice mandala offerings. Let's end here for today.
Om Khenpo Ngagchung